All right, folks, this round we are going to play a little bit with the wiring harness that I got from Amazon. Hopefully we get everything done under my hood here. Well, not everything, but I want to get the intake mounted. We want to get the injectors off this motor, decap them, and get them in there. And with any luck, I hope to at least fire this thing up before the end of this video. That's the plan. Well, let's get started. Well, if you're new, or shouldn't say new, but if you haven't seen this in one of the past videos, this is an Amazon wiring harness I got for an LS. I figured a lot of people ask about it. I figure I'll try one. This is basically for a drive-by-wire, like a standard transmission. It doesn't have any transmission plug or nothing. It's basically for a T56 or something like that. I'm basically running a Turbo 400, so it's got no... It doesn't do anything. It just works. The problem I had with this is it comes with these plugs, which are, I think they're Evo 4 or 6. I don't know the style. I think these are similar to flex fuel plugs, but I'm not 100% sure. So I originally had bought, I had bought these adapters to go to the Multec or whatever, the LS truck engines. Flex fuel is not very common around here, so these style of plugs. Unfortunately, I got the wrong end, so I guess if you don't want to do any work, you almost... I haven't seen one of these kits that actually have these ends on it. If they do, they're like $300-400. Like, then you may as well get a proper kit instead of these El Cheapos. So anyways, I'm into this harness for 160, 70, 80, 185 bucks, so less than $200 with these. Even though these are wrong, I could return these, but Amazon wants to charge me shipping. So I'm, well, whatever. I'll just snip them. We're going to put them together. Is what it is. Not a problem. I know some people just said unpin it and put them in. Well, they're different ends. This end is this style. And this one, they're just a push-in dealio. So for me, it'll just be easier to crimp, solder, put these all on. Anyways, I want to see how this thing fits on the motor. From the quick little glance I did of the instructions, essentially this thing wants to sit on the passenger side of the vehicle. So you can see by this is pretty long. It wants to go into the cab of the car, I guess. I don't know that I'll do that. We'll see. This thing is wired for, this one's like, I'm going to guess is your ignition wire. I haven't gone through the wiring really yet. From what I did a quick read, this thing does feed the fuse box. And then the second one is the fuel pump, but it has no powers. It just triggers it. So you have to put power to the battery or something on one side, and then the other side will go to your fuel pump. There's nothing for fans, but from what I read, there actually is stuff in here to trigger relays for the fans, so I guess it's got that going for it. Anyways, I want to quickly sling this thing out, and we're going to see how it looks like on there, or if it'll look any good on there. All right, I just want to sling this and do a test fit and see if everything's where it should be. All right, so we're gonna sling around. We got 2 ground wires on this side, so that's not a problem. That goes there. I want to actually make sure the plugs are right. That's the big one. So, all right, so we got a cam sensor. We have an O2 for out the back. There's our grounds. This one looks like it is knock sensors. We go over here, we got wrong injector. We got a coil, more injectors. Coming to the front, we got, I don't know what these ones exactly are, but we have the 2 for the carburetors, so that's good. I'm gonna guess this one is mass airflow. It's not very long. I think they're anticipating that you're going to be putting it right in the front. I'm guessing this is mass airflow. This one's the water. And this one probably goes to the alternator. So I don't know why this one's so long. And this one's so much shorter. That doesn't, I guess for the truck it's here. Maybe on the car it's further down something. I don't know. Anyways, so we got there. Now we will boogie around to this side. What do we got here? Here's our injectors and coils. So That one looks like it works. Okay, so that's good. I have this one. All right, that is our, is it? No. Oh, yeah. Okay, we got our map sensor. I got another O2, and I think these go down to the starter. This is going to be our crank sensor, and then we got 2 power wires. So I'm thinking they want that to go there. That looks right. And then we got our rear O2 on this side again. And then we got 2 of these. So I'm going to guess these are for speed sensors or something, because it is for a T56, like a electric manual transmission. So that looks about right there. And then we got quite a long wiring. I don't know that I want to put it in my cab. I'm just wondering if I'll slink this around, if this will work back on this side for me. I kind of wanted to mount my stuff just on the firewall over here. That was my thought. We'll see. Maybe I'll change my mind yet. All right, so that's done. I'm gonna pull this all apart here. I want to change out these injectors because they're not what I want. And we'll work our way from here. So far, it's not too bad. If you had the right injectors, this wouldn't be so bad. In my eyes. Will it work? We don't know yet. Well, I'm clearly a bad judgment of everything. So, I ended up, now I cut the plugs off of that wiring harness over there. It seems this box is to go the opposite. It's from that Multi-Tech to, I don't know what this is, one of the Evos. So technically I was staring at it, it didn't look right. These plugs plug into here, so whatever. For some reason, my Amazon will not show one of these harnesses, at least the cheap ones, with this style of plug on it. I get every other one. When I find one that has this on here, it's like double the price. So I'm like, at what point, if you're paying $400 or $500, you may as well buy a brand name something in my eyes. Anyways, with that out of the way, if you happen to find one that has this so far, it doesn't seem so terrible. I couldn't find with the right plug, so that's just me. Take it for what it is. I'm going to be butchering this harness up in a bit too, because we're supposed to have 2 O2s, and I'm going to piggyback everything and just run a single O2. I'm going to splice them together so the computer just still thinks there's 2 O2s, but I'm only running a single. We have our wideband down here, and then with this exhaust manifold, there is one bung somewhere under here. I don't know where. Oh, right there. So I'm going to run just my 1 O2 there, and we're going to tee the 2 O2s in the harness together to a single plug. Just because of what I'm doing in the turbo scenario, it's not really, I don't know. I'm going to try it. We'll see if it works. I never put an O2 on this side, and I don't think it's far enough away that it's going to matter anyways. So, all right, next step, I'm going to pull this intake off. We're going to clean it up, put some new gaskets on it, and we should be able to bolt it down. I might have to figure out my oil. We're going to have to feel that one out in the back. I might build a T so we can do the oil line. That one should come from the back, and we want to do the oil gauge there too at the same time. At least I do. The oil gauge on this car is mechanical. once I have some light here. It is mechanical, but I'm not sure where it is. We got some wires there. Here, I might have to run a new gauge for that, a new wire. I did buy some stuff for that, so alrighty. Okay. Well, let's get this off, and then we're gonna steal those. I need those injectors. I guess I'll steal those coils because we got those. We'll have those onto here. I think I have to take one of these tanks off because in the turbo world, this thing just vents to the air. Or does it go through? I don't know. I have to scratch my head and rethink how that works. Like this is a straight vent, so that's fine. These need to almost like vent to a catch can because when you do boost, it might push a bit of oil out. I know I have a catch can. We'll worry about that in a bit. Let's just get this intake bolted down properly. Well, we got a whole bunch of stuff done here. We put the gasket on, the intake is on. I got the throttle, this half of the throttle cable thing on. We don't have the cable in the car yet. You've seen me drill for the steam port and we hooked it up. So that is looped around, attached over in that corner. I still can't recall if I have to open up these vents and run them over to a catch can. I'm pretty sure I got to drill out the PCV and just so it vents freely. Lower hoses are on. The one hose here is on. I like to fill it through here. I have this down dangle thing, which I think I'm going to use for now. This is the part number. I don't know what else to look at. Oh, it's a Deco. What this does on an LS, anyways, I don't know what this is originally from. I think a Volkswagen or something. I don't know. But you can, if you put it on, if I can get in there, if I connect that, it will just loop my heater hoses for now. I have a heater core, but I don't know if it's good, so I don't feel like testing it. So we're just going to use this for now. Unfortunately, for my temp sender, I don't actually have one right now. But for just a test fire, I'm not too worried about it. I think we have all this hooked up. I'm hooped. I put in my oil sending unit, but I do not have a T adapter because I got to be able to run this thing and an oil gauge. So I need to be able to have this fit into one side, and then my oil gauge will be on the other side. Yeah. So we're kind of on that storefront waiting for that, or at least, you know, I can go after the holidays here. Can't do too much right now. So that puts that onto a stall. What do we got to do? I got to find some hose off of the booster. So I'm going to attach that up here. I know that's not normal, but I guess I could stretch this and make it go. I just feel I don't want it to stretch there. This top one is for the pressure for the rail. I don't feel like messing with these injectors tonight, so I think that is tomorrow's plan. Then what we're going to do is we're going to pull these off, pull all the injectors off, grind the caps off. I should flow them, but I don't really have a means to do that. We might come up with something to figure out how to do that, just to get a rough guesstimate on what they're flowing. I wanted to at least flow the same. We can make the numbers up after that. I mean, that's not what you should do. You shouldn't make your numbers up, but if they all flow the same, you know, they could be 72 all the way to 80 pounds. We don't know. I'll try to do a rough guesstimate, and then we'll just play a safe flow rate. Stock is 24 pounds, I think. 24 or 27 pounds is the stock injectors. And when you grind the cap off, you can possibly get up to 70 pounds out of it. Some people don't like it because it doesn't atomize as nice. It's more of a straight shot of fuel versus just like a spray. I guess that's the right way to say it. But it's a budget build, so it is what it is. All right. Anyways, I think till tomorrow. Hopefully I can get some parts maybe, but it's a long weekend, so we're kind of hooped here. So far, what I've done is I pulled my injectors out. I pulled the O-rings off. I am just taking the tops off right now, without shooting them across the room. Should be 3 of them. This is just so we can put it all back together. Now, a fella can buy these injectors. They're not terribly expensive, but we are trying to keep this pretty low budget, so trying to keep the whole car low budget. So I'm taking these off. I'm going to put them back on. I'm going to show you shortly what we're going to be doing here. Alright, what I am trying to do is right here, you can see on the cap, what we're going to do is I'm going to stick this in a socket. I'm going to do that right away here. I don't remember what socket fits really well. That was pretty good. I'm going to stick it in a 1/2 inch. Stick it on my impact. I think that'll work. Is that good enough? Yeah, that fits nice and tight in there. We're going to take it to the bench grinder. So, I'll show you what this looks like after here. You don't need the grind very much. All you're trying to do is get the disc off the end there. You'll see. So that took a couple minutes. You can see here, I just ground the side. There's like lots of people that talk about this, but you don't grind it flat. You just want to do the side because it's just a flat disc that sits on top of there and restricts this. So anyways, next step, we're going to take all these. We're going to put them back into here. I'm going to come up with some kind of game plan. I don't know if I'll put the bottoms on yet. I want to make sure all the injectors are kind of in the zone. So we'll lube these up. We'll throw them all into here. I guess I'll throw some fuel in the fuel tank. We'll hot wire the fuel pump so that it just runs. And then I can individually check these injectors. What I have bought is just a fuel injector tester. I had a better way to do this. I actually had a rig where I could do the flow testing and stuff before, but, well, that was in the shop. I don't have that anymore. And then I had made another one to test these, so I would run them, cycle them for 30 seconds, kind of do math on it. Or really crappy math, and then try to see if we could get an idea. Anyways, this thing we can do like long, short, pulse. And you can just like turn it on, just tell it to go bananas. So that's the plan. We're going to do this to a beaker. I probably shouldn't have put all my fuel lines in the car. We'll do it to these. Try to make sure they all flow pretty close. And then I do have a stock one, so we'll probably try that just for the heck of it, so you can see the difference in the amount of time what a guy gets. All right, I got to try to set this all up. So well, I got this far. I don't have any 3/8 fuel hose. Like this line doesn't reach, so I was going to just make a quick connector inside of here. But I don't have, which sucks. I know I tried ordering some for stock, but nobody has in town, so I've ordered a bunch of hardline off Amazon, but man, I hope it comes in sooner than later because this sucks. Just the constant wait. So essentially, I got to put this in here. I'll show you how the tester works, because that's all I can do. Anyways, this is, you plug it directly into your injector. At least this is how I'm going to try to do this. So you plug this directly into the injector. I'll just put that down there. This is the tester. I guess this is for cleaning or doing some very basic injector testing. Anyways, put those on. This gives you options. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Like one gives you a short pulse. You can probably hear it. Maybe not. Let's try 2. So basically it's cycling the injector. So you got, that's 2. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Maybe I'll just do like the long test. So it does this. Maybe I'll do 4 runs of that, and then we'll see how much we flew into one of those beakers. And when that's said and done, then we'll compare all of them. So I guess what the plan will be is that we'll try to, I'll run about 4 pulses of that. We'll compare them all, see if they all flow about the same. And then, I don't know, somehow I'll figure out some math to calculate how much the injector flows, I guess. I don't know if I got to just do it on a timer. I can do a timer because it has a continuous option. So I can probably time it, and then we can see what it flows at. And then we can probably calculate that into, I don't know what that thing it's looking for is. I don't know, pounds per minute, or I don't know what it is. We'll figure it out. Or we'll make a number up. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyways, I'm going to have to keep hunting, twiddle my fingers, hope that I can get that maybe tomorrow that fuel line I ordered comes in. I don't know. It's either tomorrow or the next day. I'll have to hunt around at some more shops tomorrow and see if anybody has or can get me in some 3/8 fuel line. It's pretty brutal when that's like a day or 2 order for somebody at a parts store to get. So anyways, all right. I guess that's it. All I can do tonight. All right, folks. Today I managed to find coil, 3/8, and we have some fittings to do our oil gauge. Whoop. So what that should get us is here, so we can do oil gauge on one side. We can do our, what do you want to call it, turbo line on the other side. So that part is good. So that'll do all that stuff. I think I have some different gauges coming, so I'm not too happy with this one. Well, not that I'm not too happy. It's I'm going with electric gauges because this end's too big and I can't get it to stab into my water neck, let alone into the head of the motor. So we're gonna go a different route with an electric gauge. The mechanical one here for the oil would be fine, but we'll see how my other kit comes. Anyways, I'm gonna get this set up quick so we can start doing some testing with our injectors and kind of get that out of the way. We are gonna have to mind my setup, as I am gonna do this with a 30-second timer, which I have on my phone. We got our injector timer set up, so I'm pretty much just gonna run it for 30 seconds and we'll see how many cc's we get. And hopefully I can do this all in one shot. I don't know if I can do a full 30 seconds. All right, so you can see the difference. This is a stock injector in 30 seconds, and these are the ones that we just decapped. I gotta try like decapping this one, see if I can get everything flowing about the same. Then we'll do like a flow comparison, like we'll do a conversion to take the cc's and change it over to pounds an hour is what HP Tuners wants, but regardless, you can just see the difference that the injectors flow. I don't really want to get into crazy detail with this, but anyways, I'm going to keep doing the rest of them. We're going to see. So far, we got this one I want to change out. And we don't know. I'm going to test all of these ones back here yet. We'll see how they all go. This is a crude way of measuring it, but this is about how I'm going to play this game. Again, you can buy the injectors. I just don't know. I've heard some of the Chinese injectors, they could be hit and miss because you could pay a couple $100 for some, you know, offshore injectors. That might be like 80-pound injectors, let's say. I think they're called decas or something like that. Anyways, we're doing it. Just budget. Yada yada. I don't know what to say. It is what it is. I was just showing you what happens when you decap an injector, what happens as far as fuel rate. In HP tuners, I got to tell it that the injectors can do, they flow more. We just got to find a balance to make sure that they're all flowing about the same. So if it's peaking out, it's not running lean. I guess that's the idea. This is just in a turbo application. These stock injectors will work fine for like most, they'll work fine for a lot of cam motors, everything else. It's just usually when you're boosting, you just need more fuel to keep the cylinders cool. So, okay, that's about the end of that detail I'm going to go in. I'm going to finish my test. We'll kind of come up with a calculation of what we got here, hopefully, maybe, or I'll just make something up. I don't know. All right. All right, it's been a while. I have everything temporarily hooked up, as you can see. We got the starters hooked up. I need different cables. I really loosely, crappily have the fuel pump wired up. I don't know. I turned the ignition on, things click. The only thing you had to do is run your own power wire, which I just kind of loosely just stabbed it onto this stud, which powers one side of the relay, and the other side of the one fuel pump relay goes to the back. Other than that, everything else seems to jive. We have everything just junkily hooked up here. And I put a bit of oil in the transmission, which reminds me, I gotta put that dipstick back on. And put some in the ATF. We mounted the computer, everything over on this side. I don't know. I'm happy with that. I don't need to put it in the cab. Put the oil gauge hooked up, starters in, ran some wires. Everything's very, very temporary. We flashed the computer. It's running what's called 2-bar, which is like, so it can take boost. It's a stock PCM. I'm not going to get into the tuning of that because I'm not very good at it, but you can basically run a stock computer and you should dyno it and get somebody to, who knows what they're doing to tune it. But anyways, I think we are just about ready to try this thing out. Key second time. That's pretty close. Can't give it any fuel. That's the problem. I don't have a throttle hooked up. Let's see here. Give it a little bit of fuel. Right away I could tell I got my power steering pump hooked up backwards. It's trying to bite me there. All right, you know what? I'm gonna pull the belts off just so I don't have to deal with that. And then we'll give it a try again here. Let's try it again. Well, it wants to go. I'm gonna have to go hook up my laptop and see if I can figure out why it doesn't want to actually idle. So this could take a bit. So I'll bring you guys right back. Well, it wants to idle, but I'm not sure what it is. It kind of runs and dies. First, I'm gonna check fuel pressure to make sure the regulator's not bad. And then we'll see after that if it's just, I don't know, if it's something with the tune, which it most likely is. But let's find out first. Fuel pressure first. Well, the error I'm getting is my camshaft position sensor. So that would totally explain why it's shutting off. Now, why it's doing that, I'm not sure. I mean, it's totally possible the sensor's bad. So that's kind of sucks because I got to go dig through there. But we're going to try the sensor first. We'll steal it out of this one because we know it worked. So I'm going to grab that one. We'll just try to blindly swap that. I'm hoping that's all it is. Otherwise, it may be something with the wiring. I hope not. But let's, we'll dig into that and do it. It's just a 10 mil and little baby hands to get in there. It's not terrible, but it does suck. Well, let's clear these codes, because upon changing that, I'm curious if... Camshaft position sensor. So I got a funny feeling. Like, is the map reading wrong? I got a funny feeling these two plugs are the same. I feel the mass airflow and the map sensor, they can be changed. So let me try that and then I'll bring you guys back. We'll kind of try it again here. All right, survey says. So I don't think it was that sensor. I'm kind of wondering if it was those other things. All right. Now, turn key on. Oh yeah, that thing's reading, right? exhaust out. Don't know how much, I just know it has some. Oh, that is awesome. So there, that is a mental note. These are 2 3-pin plugs, and you can get them backwards. Who'd have thunk? On the mass airflow, this plug and the cam sensor are the same plugs. Well, at least with the harness, because you can't really tell where they are, depending how you run this, but interesting. Well, that actually started and run great once we figured out our problem. One more time, just because. I'm pretty sure that one's our oil pressure. Definitely a slow climber. I don't know if that's the original gauge. I'm gonna have to switch out the gauges. That's awesome. That's awesome. Now we got a whole lot of stuff to do yet, but that at least gets a fire under a feller's butt. Oh yeah. Like it. So, well, my gauges should be in. I don't know now, mixed. That oil gauge is a little in the dash there. Seems to be a little laggy, slow. Anyways, I'm going to need to get some battery cables. I do want to put this in the trunk. We need to get some wires so I can properly run the fuel pump. I just have wire just kind of wrapped around the frame going back, and it's just twist tied. Nothing's wired properly back there. But it runs. We got to do gas pedal. We got to do a little bit before we can take it for a little boot, but our year's getting pretty short here, so I don't know that I'm going to actually get it on the road this year, but well, we're in the fall, but we've got a whole bunch of stuff there's a whole lot going on around the yard. And I want to finish a lot of the car in the other garage. That's kind of the idea, but yeah. Hey, one step at a time. I like it. Anyways, I'm going to chalk that up as a win. That was my goal. If we're going to get the fuel system done and get the car started. I tried it. It does the motion. I still got to do that pinion seal. Silly me, I shouldn't have done that already. But yeah, I'm pretty happy here. Pretty happy. I like it. I think it's awesome. What's not to like? So that works. We have it running. There's lots to do. We got to tidy up wiring. I got to put a gas pedal in. I don't. The plugs are in. They're not even gapped right. I don't know about the tune. I got to still do the air fuel gauge. Yeah, there's lots to do. But I want to try to. I think I want to try to get the interior back in. It's junk, but I just want to throw it in so I have something to sit on. Man, if I can, I think I'm going to try to pick up paint tomorrow. What I would like to do, because my whole goal with this car was to have the interior, like, eventually, I wanted the interior to be super nice. And, I would say stock or just, yeah, probably stock. So I'm going to try to get this color. And I would like to spray the dash before we put the windshield in. Just because that'd be a pain in the arse when the glass is in. It doesn't even matter at this point. We'd have to mask it and do everything anyways. You know, I'm not going to worry about it. There's so much other stuff we have to do inside the interior. To do that dash is not going to be the end of the world later. Yeah, no worries. All right, so the plan next. Going to get the seats in. I gotta find some more tires. I guess I could use these, but these ones are some 15s. They're the Jag ones. Oh, we gotta deal with that steering. I have the hoses wrong. When I started it up, the steering just spun the wrong, like, to aggressively try to rip arms off. So that tells me I hooked the lines up backwards. So I'll have to fix that. Coolant, windshield. I don't know. We got a bunch. We'll figure it out. Other than that, though, I'm actually pretty happy that eBay wiring harness wasn't terrible. Like, I'm not going to complain. Like, if people were saying, like, you could have sent it back. I could have. The reason why I say sometimes it's a hassle is sometimes for me anyways here, I don't know if it's because I'm in the sticks, if I try to send something back to Amazon, there's usually like that small part, they'd want to pay shipping, and it was a $20 part, so I'd have to pay the $5 or $7 to ship it back. I'm like, at what point then? And then besides that, I kind of wrecked it anyway when I was cutting it apart to try to work on here, so whatever. That's my beef. I actually really love Amazon. They are great, I would say, about 95% of the time. I've never had a problem with them, let's put them that way. Other than the shipping thing every now and then, but... All right. Anyways, that is enough babble. I think this is where we're going to leave this one. I want to thank you all for watching, and we will catch you on the next one. Later.